The wrestling world just witnessed something absolutely insane that nobody saw coming, and honestly this changes everything we thought we knew about where things were headed. GUSO has officially joined forces with The Vision, and if that wasn't shocking enough, Paul Heyman just stood in the middle of that ring and declared full-scale war on Monday Night Raw, leaving everyone wondering what exactly is about to go down in the coming weeks. Before we dive deep into this explosive situation, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of the chaos that's about to unfold. Let me take you back to how this whole thing started, because context matters here, and this storyline has been building in ways most people didn't even realize. GUSO has been on this incredible journey of self-discovery ever since he broke away from the bloodline and started carving out his own path as a singles competitor. We watched him struggle with his identity, we saw him question everything he knew about loyalty and family, and we witnessed him slowly transform into someone who wasn't just Roman Reigns' right-hand man anymore. The crowd got behind him in a massive way because people love a redemption story, and G was giving them exactly that with every single appearance he made. Now The Vision has been operating in the shadows for weeks now, quietly recruiting members and building something that nobody fully understood until this moment. They've been strategic, they've been calculated, and they've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike when everyone least expected it. The group has been teasing big moves and dropping hints about major acquisitions, but nobody in their wildest dreams thought GUSO would be the one walking through that door. This is a guy who bled for the bloodline, who sacrificed everything for his family, and who seemed destined to eventually reunite with his twin brother Jimmy somewhere down the line. The actual moment when G made his appearance was pure electricity, and you could feel the shock rippling through the entire arena. The Vision was in the ring cutting a promo about their plans for dominance when the music hit and G walked out with this look on his face that told you everything had changed. He wasn't the conflicted guy we've been seeing lately, he wasn't the person torn between family and independence anymore, he was someone who had made a definitive choice about his future. The crowd went absolutely nuts because this was unexpected on every level, and the reactions online immediately started pouring in from fans and wrestlers alike. What makes this move so significant is what it means for the entire landscape of both brands moving forward. G joining The Vision isn't just about one person switching allegiances, it's about shifting the balance of power in a way that forces everyone else to reconsider their positions. Raw has been dominant for months now, with their roster seemingly untouchable and their storylines driving all the major conversations in wrestling. The Vision needed someone with credibility, someone with name recognition, someone who could instantly legitimize their mission, and GUSO fits that description perfectly. Paul Heyman getting involved takes this situation to an entirely different stratosphere, because when the wise man speaks, people listen, and when he declares war, you better believe chaos is coming. Heyman walked out after G's shocking appearance and delivered one of those promos that reminds you why he's considered the best talker in the business. He didn't waste time with pleasantries or build-up, he went straight for the throat, calling out Raw's management, their top stars, and basically anyone who thought SmackDown was just going to sit back and accept their place. The way he wove G's addition into his declaration of war was masterful, because he framed it as the first shot fired in what's going to be an all-out battle. Heyman talked about how Raw has gotten comfortable, how they've been acting like they're untouchable, and how that arrogance is going to be their downfall. He pointed out that SmackDown has been quietly assembling an army, and now with GUSO in the Vision, that army just got a nuclear weapon added to its arsenal. The intensity in his voice when he said they're coming for everything Raw holds dear sent chills down everyone's spine, because you know Heyman doesn't make empty threats. When he promises war, he delivers war, and the history books prove that over and over again. The implications for the Bloodline storyline are massive, and this opens up so many questions about where things go from here. Roman Reigns has been dealing with his own issues, Jimmy USO has been trying to figure out his place in everything, and Solo Sikoa has been leading a version of the Bloodline that looks nothing like what it used to be. G joining The Vision essentially confirms that he's completely severed ties with that entire saga, at least for now. This isn't him taking a break to find himself. This is him actively choosing a different path and aligning with people who represent something completely opposite to what the Bloodline stands for. Think about the potential matches this sets up, and your mind starts racing with possibilities. GUSO with The Vision backing him can now target anyone on Raw without fear of being outnumbered. The Vision as a unit with someone of G's caliber makes them legitimate main event players instead of just another faction trying to get noticed. Paul Heyman orchestrating things behind the scenes adds layers of strategy and manipulation that will make every move they make feel significant. Raw is going to have to respond, and when they do, it's going to escalate into something we haven't seen in years. The timing of this whole thing is absolutely perfect from a storytelling perspective, because we're heading into a period where inter-brand warfare makes complete sense. Survivor Series is on the horizon, premium live events are stacking up, and the draft implications from earlier this year are still playing out. Having The Vision with GUSO as their centerpiece going up against Raw's top faction creates natural drama and gives fans a reason to invest in both shows equally. Nobody wants to see their brand get embarrassed, and that competitive spirit is what made the brand split compelling in the first place. Social media exploded immediately after this went down, with wrestlers from both brands weighing in on what happened. Some Raw superstars were dismissive, saying SmackDown is reaching and this won't change anything, while others seemed genuinely concerned about what The Vision with GUSO represents. SmackDown roster members started rallying behind the war cry, with several posting cryptic messages about loyalty and being ready for battle. The fans are split right down the middle, with some loving this new direction for G and others questioning whether he's making a mistake that he'll regret. What's interesting is how this affects G's character development, because he's been portrayed as someone searching for his identity outside of family. Joining the Vision could be seen as him finding a new family, or it could be interpreted as him using them as a vehicle to get revenge on everyone who doubted him. The beauty of this angle is that it leaves room for interpretation and allows the story to evolve organically based on how fans respond. G has proven he can carry emotional weight in his performances, and adding him to a group dynamic where he's not just the muscle but potentially the heart changes everything. Paul Heyman's role as the mouthpiece for this war cannot be understated, because he elevates everything he touches. His ability to make you believe that what's happening is the most important thing in wrestling is unmatched, and having him frame this as Raw vs. SmackDown with real stakes gives it legitimacy. He's not just cutting promos, he's building a narrative where every interaction matters and every victory or loss has consequences. The fact that he's positioned G as a cornerstone of this war effort tells you exactly how management views this angle and how much faith they have in it succeeding. The question everyone is asking now is who else might join the Vision and what Raw's response will be. Heyman hinted at more surprises coming. He suggested that this was just the beginning of SmackDown's resurgence, and he made it clear that they're not stopping until they've proven superiority. Raw can't just ignore this declaration, they have to respond with force, and that response will likely involve forming their own coalition or empowering their existing groups to take the fight to SmackDown. This kind of storytelling works because it gives everyone on both rosters something to do and a reason to be invested. GUSO's in-ring work combined with the Vision's agenda creates fresh matchup possibilities that fans have been craving. We could see him go after champions he's never faced, we could watch him settle old scores with people from his past, and we could witness him prove that he's not just a tag team specialist but a legitimate singles threat. The Vision benefits from having someone with his experience and his connection to the audience, because it gives them instant credibility that factions usually take months to build. It's a win for everyone involved if they execute this properly. The historical context of brand warfare in wrestling shows us that when done right, these angles become legendary. The original brand split created some of the most memorable moments in modern wrestling history because the competition felt real and the stakes felt high. Raw and SmackDown going to war with real animosity and real consequences could recapture that magic if everyone commits to it fully. Paul Heyman declaring war isn't just words, it's a promise that we're about to see both brands elevate their game to prove they're the superior show. Looking at this from a business perspective, this move makes incredible sense because it gives fans a reason to watch both shows religiously. If you miss Raw, you might miss their response to what SmackDown did. If you skip SmackDown, you might miss the next major development in this war. Creating appointment television in an era where people consume content however they want is difficult, but storylines like this that span both brands force fans to stay engaged. GUSO joining the Vision and Paul Heyman declaring war accomplishes exactly that. The unpredictability factor is what makes this so exciting because nobody knows where this goes from here. Will other members of the bloodline get involved? Will Roman Reigns eventually have to address what his cousin is doing? Will Raw's top stars band together, or will they fight amongst themselves about how to handle this threat? These questions don't have obvious answers, and that's what keeps people talking between shows. Wrestling is at its best when fans are genuinely surprised and invested in what happens next, and this angle delivers on both fronts. Some people are already speculating about potential betrayals within the Vision because factions always have internal drama eventually. Others think G might be playing a long game where he's actually infiltrating the group for some bigger purpose. The speculation alone generates buzz and keeps the storyline relevant in conversations online and in person. Whether those theories pan out or whether this goes in a completely different direction, the fact that people are theorizing means the storytelling is effective. The physical presence that G brings to the Vision shouldn't be overlooked because he's proven he can go with anyone in that ring. His athleticism, his timing, his ability to sell emotion during matches makes him valuable beyond just his name. The Vision needed someone who could deliver in big match situations, and G has shown time and time again that when the lights are brightest he performs. Adding him to their lineup makes them a legitimate threat to any group on any brand, and that's exactly what this storyline needs. Paul Heyman's declaration of war sets the tone for what's likely going to be months of programming built around this conflict. Wars in wrestling don't end quickly, they build and escalate and culminate in massive showdowns that fans remember forever. If this is executed with the same intensity that it started with, we're looking at potentially one of the defining angles of the year. Heyman knows how to pace a story, he knows when to accelerate and when to let things breathe, and having him steering this ship gives everyone confidence that it won't fizzle out. So here we are with GUSO officially part of the Vision, Paul Heyman declaring war on Raw, and the entire wrestling landscape shifted in the span of one show. Nobody knows exactly what comes next, but everyone is dying to find out, and that's the whole point. This is the kind of storytelling that reminds us why we love this industry, why we invest our time and emotion into these characters and their journeys. The war has been declared, the lines have been drawn, and we're all witnesses to what could become something absolutely special. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single second of this war as it unfolds, because trust me, you're going to want to see every twist and turn that's coming.